We've gotten back on the bus, but since it's been raining, the upper deck is a little bit wet, so we're in here, and now we have context for where we're going. So maybe I'm just gonna film and let him do the talking.
If when I say something's left or right, you can just do what you like. It might be in front of you or it might be behind you, it's up to you.
We did miss a couple of things, at least as far as filming. Took a few pictures, but we missed the Squinty Bridge and the Armadillo and the UFO, which are the sporting arenas. But at least I got some pictures of it.
So the Riverside Museum over on our left. I think it's our left, isn't it? Keep it right, guys. So I'll get my back to the direction. So the Riverside Museum was built on the site of the old shipyard of A&J Ingalls. At one time there was a 20-mile stretch of the river which was home to 62 shipyards. The term Clyde built was known worldwide, and at one time Glasgow and the Clyde built 25% of the world's shipping. Now over to the left ahead of us there's some student accommodation. We have 3 universities here in Glasgow, and we also have the Art School, the Royal Conservatoire and several other colleges. Each year Glasgow's population is boosted by about 120,000 as the students come here from all over the world. So you're not on the ship then? We've got quite a lot of people on board today who are on the cruise ship that's at Greenock. That's about 25 miles away. Yeah. And quite often when the cruise ships come in, people head into Glasgow and then do the tours and visit the city.
Oh no, I was on the tin can, inside the sardine can for 14 hours.
Alright, okay. So when we turn right and go down onto the expressway, the murals will be on our left hand side shortly, on the railway arches. And ahead to the right, it's over on our right hand side at the moment, is the Clyde Tower, part of the Science Centre complex. The Clyde Tower is 127 metres tall and it weighs 500 metric tonnes. This is the only freestanding structure in the world which can fully rotate 360 degrees from the ground to the top. To the right of the Clyde Tower is a small black and white ship which has had her funnels removed. This is the original Queen Mary. Not, of course, the transatlantic liner, but this small ship was built first, and the name was given up at the request of Cunard. And she sailed for many years as Queen Mary II. She's now gone back to her original name, and in a few years' time after refurbishment, it is hoped she will be offering excursions down the water alongside the Waverley. The Waverley is the world's last seagoing paddle steamer, and she's normally berthed in Glasgow. She's just finished her summer season, and she's now down on the south coast of England and headed for London and the Thames. Now we're just about to go underneath the covered walkway, which links the campus on the right to the railway station over to the left. On the sides of the covered walkway is Glasgow's current slogan, "People make Glasgow." And we do hope you found this to be the case while you've been in the city. Now the railway station down on our left opened in 1979 as Finnieston Station. But with the growth of the events campus, the station name was changed to Exhibition Centre. Now we're just going on to Finnieston Street, headed up to the junction with Argyll Street. Coming up on our right, you will see the modern Sky Park building. This is home to smaller companies and offices. And directly ahead of us, just above the tenement buildings, we have the Golden Dome of the Sikh Gurdwara. This is the largest Sikh temple in Scotland, and I'll say more about the Gurdwara when we leave stop number 17. Now we're just about to go on to Argyll Street briefly, which gets its name from Archibald Campbell. He was the 3rd Duke of Argyll. His funeral procession passed along here in 1761 on the way to the family cemetery out near Dunoon on the west coast. Now when we turn round to the right, directly in front of us will be the green statue of Charles Rennie Mackintosh. He will be on our right hand side also shortly. You can see many examples of his work at the Kelvin Grove Art Gallery Museum and also at the Macintosh at the Willow Tea Rooms on Sucky Hall Street. Now this statue is just coming up on our right hand side. It was unveiled in 2018 on the 90th anniversary of his death, and it was designed by Andy Scott. He also designed the Kelpies out beside Falkirk in central Scotland. Now Macintosh moved his family to England in the 1910s. During the very early months of the First World War, he was arrested briefly by the police in Suffolk. This was when his Glasgow accent was confused for a German accent.
What?
It's all the guttural, good guttural, there guttural, you know. So shortly we will see the motorway again. Glasgow is one of 3 UK cities to have a motorway running through the city centre. The others are Birmingham and Newcastle. And just while I'm on the subject of other UK cities, recently a poll was conducted to try to finally settle the debate of which is the second city of the UK. Birmingham said it was Birmingham, Manchester said it was Manchester, Liverpool said it was Liverpool, and Glasgow said it was London. Now that one I'm proud of. Some of the earlier stuff, maybe not so much.
So, what did Glasgow say was the first city of the UK?
Us, of
London, of course.
Us,
They were the first. London's the second city.
London's second, we're first. That goes without saying. You must have realised that by now. How long have you been here?
4 hours.
That's long enough. Now just stretching ahead of us is the hill or drumlin of St Vincent Street, heading back into the city centre. There are more than 30 drumlins in the Glasgow area, and these date back to the Ice Age. Now in the last few weeks, Glasgow has been doubling up as New York. Some of the scenes for the next Spider-Man film have been filmed in some of Glasgow's streets. So if you go and see the next Spider-Man movie, look out for some of the Glasgow buildings.
I would.
No, genuinely, if we're getting paid enough, we'll be anywhere. Now what they did was, of course, they brought in all the American vehicles and the American flags on the side of the buildings, etc. and stuff. Apparently Spider-Man was very friendly, because if you walked past where they were filming, they were on a break, he would come and say hello and wave and very friendly. So we will cross the top of the motorway 3 times over the remainder of the tour. But shortly we will be turning left onto Elm Bank Street and heading for Charing Cross and the West End of Glasgow. Now coming up on our right hand side when we get round this corner, you will see the old building with the boarded up and blackened windows. This was the old High School of Glasgow building before they moved the school out to the West End. We think this is being converted into a hotel or some apartments. Now directly ahead of us at the end of the street is the Beresford building with the red detail. This was Glasgow's first skyscraper. And I will say more about the Beresford building when we leave stop 18 coming back into the city centre in about 15 or 20 minutes. Now on our left hand side now is the red building, which is the King's Theatre. This is one of our remaining variety theatres. It opened in the very early 1900s. Now we're about to turn left onto Bath Street, which gets its name courtesy of William Harley. In the very early 1800s, when indoor plumbing was a luxury, he opened a series of bathhouses along the street, giving it its name. And this was where Glaswegians would come for their weekly bath. And it gained Harley the nickname as the water entrepreneur. Now, coming up ahead to the left now is the Mitchell Library. This is Europe's largest public reference library. It began life in the city centre in the 1850s, but as the collection grew to over 1.5 million volumes, these larger premises were required. On top of the green dome, up in the middle of the building, is the Roman goddess Minerva. She is the goddess of wisdom and the arts. Now the foundation stone for this building was laid in 1907 by Andrew Carnegie. Now we're just about to run through Charing Cross, and I'll say more about Charing Cross when we come back towards the city centre in about 15 or 20 minutes. Now shortly we will be going on to Woodlands Road, and along here you will see first of all examples of the red sandstone tenement buildings, and further along the blonde. The common entrance to these apartment blocks are known as closes. Now the blonde sandstone was quarried locally to the Glasgow area, but when this started to run out we had to look further afield, and the red sandstone came from Ayrshire and Dumfriesshire. Also when we get on to Woodlands Road, down on the right hand side you'll see the Meow Cat Cafe. Earlier on we passed the Purple Cat Cafe, but we're now about to pass the Meow Cat Cafe with Garfield just above the entrance. And there's usually some cats sitting in the windows. Simply to save on the cost of some of the taxis, the owners filled in some of the windows. This is genuinely the origin of the term daylight robbery, as the people inside were robbed of some of their daylight. So you'll see these on the blonde buildings coming up on the right hand side. And they go all the way from the first floor up to the top floor. You've got the filled in windows on the buildings on the right hand side now. They're all along this section, so you'll see some as we go along. Now we're now approaching stop 13 for the old schoolhouse and for Kelvin Grove Park. It's a nice walk through the park itself. Here you would find the open air bandstand where concerts are held during the summer months. Also further into the park is the suffrage oak tree. This tree was planted in 1918 when women in Britain were given a limited vote for the first time. This tree is usually bedecked in the colours of the suffragette movement: purple for loyalty and dignity, white for purity, and green for hope. Glasgow per head of population has more parks and green spaces than any other city in Europe. The name Glasgow itself can be translated as Dear Green Place. Now our next stop is number 14 for Glasgow University campus. Unfortunately the Hunterian Art Gallery Museum and the Mackintosh House are closed on a Monday. But if you do go onto the university campus, please visit the cloisters. It's a fantastic photo opportunity, and Glasgow Uni cloisters were used to film some of the scenes for the Outlander television series. Any Outlander fans on the bus today? Yeah? In the 1970s, a protest was led by American student Shelley Russell. Several women chained themselves to the bar inside the tenants' pub and refused to leave until they were served. And to this day, their skeletons can still be found chained to the bar. You can believe that one if you like. Now we're just about to go left onto Church Street, and the old buildings we'll see on the left are what remain of the Western Infirmary. This was the hospital for the West End of Glasgow, but the land is now owned by the university, and there's more modern campus buildings also over on the left. When we get through the lights, on our left there will be a gap between two of the hospital buildings, and you will see the Alexander Elder Memorial Chapel. The Elders were a well-known Govan shipbuilding family, and a few moments ago I mentioned the quincentennial gates at the uni. There are 50 names on the gates of royalty, academics and politicians. To date, only one lady is named there. She was Isabella Elder, and she's there because she was a great champion of women's education. So the gap is just coming up on the left for you to see the Alexander Elder Memorial Chapel building. This was also designed by J.J. Burnett. Now we're now headed for stop 16 for Kelvin Grove Art Gallery Museum. which exhibits some 8,000 pieces from Glasgow's collection of over 1 million artefacts. Suspended from the ceiling in one of the exhibition halls, you will find a complete Spitfire aeroplane, and at 1 o'clock today in the main hall, there will be a free organ recital. So just on our right hand side here we have the pub called Gallus, and on the wall of the pub is a mural, and this was completed just at the beginning of the summer. And on there you can see Glasgow's motto, "Let Glasgow Flourish." Now anyone in Glasgow who is a bit gallus is someone who's very self-confident, a bit brash, and probably more than a little bit cheeky. In fact, the exact opposite of myself. Now also inside the gallery is Salvador Dali's painting of Christ of St. John of the Cross, purchased from Dali in the 1950s at a cost of £8,200. This painting is now worth more than £60 million, and I wish I had bought it. So also when we get round the corner to the left, ahead you will see to the left the tower of Glasgow's main building. But as I said, we get absolutely the best view of the main building when we leave stop 16. Now coming up ahead to the right at the moment, it'll be directly ahead of us when we get round to the right, is Kelvin Grove Art Gallery and Museum. It dates back to 1901, when it was built for the International Exhibition. Now it's a well-known Glasgow story that Kelvin Grove Museum was built back to front, and when he discovered this, the architect committed suicide. This is simply an urban myth. The main entrance is on the other side of the building, facing the university at the top of the hill, and this was always intended to be the case. And if you just get your phones and cameras ready now, very, very shortly I will invite you to look back over your left-hand shoulder for absolutely the best view of the university's main building. So just get your phones and cameras ready now. And in about 3, 2, 1, just look back over your left-hand shoulder now for the best view of Glasgow University's main building. This is not Hogwarts. So now at street level on the left we have the bowling greens and the tennis courts. You can come here and hire the equipment for a game of bowls on the natural grass, or for a few sets of tennis on the artificial surface. Do you want to say something?
Hello.
Hello. Do you want to talk to everyone? Hello.
Hello.
Hello. No. I get that every day as well. So this is stop 17. Is that it?
Yeah, she's gonna nap and then we're gonna go again.
Alright, okay. So are you getting immediately back on, or are you going? No, I'm gonna right, you're going to go off and then get a later one. Right.
Yeah.
The buses are every 15 minutes. After 4:30 it goes every 30 minutes, and the last bus leaves the city centre at 6:30 and goes all the way round. Okay, perfect. Thanks. I think it was something I said. Do you want to move back down again? You can go anywhere you like. Don't let me tell you, but you can go anywhere you like. Now just coming up on the left, you will see the Royal Crescent, built for the professional classes of Glasgow in Victorian times. In architectural style, it's actually Georgian, just on the left now. And if you're upstairs outside the canopy, here come the branches. Hear them hitting the bus now. Now just as we go through these traffic lights, you can look down the street on the right hand side and you will see the Golden Dome and the pink sandstone Sikh Gurdwara. This is the largest Sikh temple in Scotland, and the pink sandstone for this building was imported from India. Down on the right hand side now. Now the Gurdwara is located on Berkeley Street. This is where a Dr. William Pritchard murdered his wife and mother-in-law by the use of poison. His was the last public hanging in Glasgow Green in 1865, which attracted a crowd of over 80,000 people. Now, I did read somewhere that Pritchard poisoned the breakfasts of the two ladies, thereby making him Scotland's first serial killer. I thank you. Now, we're just about to run through Charing Cross, and on our left you'll see the 27-foot high terracotta fountain in honour of Sir Charles Cameron. He served as a Member of Parliament for 21 years in the late 1800s. It's no longer a working fountain, and you can see on our left that it leans to one side in a drunken manner. This is highly ironic. He was a leading campaigner of the temperance movement. And as we go through the lights heading now for stop 18, we'll see the Charing Cross Mansions building on our left, also designed by J.J. Burnett and rather continental in style. So we are heading back now towards the city centre and the end of the tour. If you want off at any of the remaining stops before we get back to George Square, please let us know by pressing one of the red stop buttons. It's now private apartments, but it opened as the Beresford Hotel in 1938 for the Empire Exhibition. It was at the Beresford Hotel that John F. Kennedy gave his first public speech at the age of 22. He came to Glasgow to speak to survivors of the Glasgow-built liner the Athenia, the first ship sunk by torpedo during the Second World War. Now we're now headed for stop 19 for the School of Art building and the Macintosh at the Willow Tea Rooms. The art school building was Macintosh's masterpiece, but it suffered from two major fires in 2014 and then again in 2018. It is hoped it will reopen in the near future. You will see it up to the left in a moment, still covered in scaffolding. The students are currently using several other buildings in the city centre. Here in Scotland, the ground floor is the ground floor, it's not the first floor.
And the first floor is the second floor.
No, come on. When in Rome and all that, you know.
Okay, fair enough.
Now we will be leaving Circuit Hall Street behind in a moment as it becomes pedestrianised. This is the northern tip of the Golden Z of Glasgow shopping, linking with Buchanan Street and Argyle Street. Now as we turn left, ahead to the right is the entrance to the Macintosh at the Willow Tea Rooms. Now coming up on the next right hand corner is the brick Art Deco Glasgow Film Theatre. This opened as the Cosmo Cinema in 1938. Many people thought that that wouldn't be here for very long. At one time, Glasgow had 114 cinemas. Now we will see the orange brick Royal Conservatoire on our left shortly. It's been up here since 1988. It began life in the city centre in the 1850s as the Royal Scottish Academy of Music and Drama. Famous alumni from these establishments include two Doctor Who's, David Tennant, a previous Doctor, and Ncuti Gatwa, the current Doctor. Another previous Doctor, Peter Capaldi, studied at the art school. Also Sam Heughan from the Outlander television series, the actor Robbie Coltrane, and in the 1960s Jack Bruce, who later formed the group Cream alongside Ginger Baker and Eric Clapton. Now Jack Bruce was actually expelled from the old academy. He was found playing in a jazz band at night, and this was frowned upon by the school, and he was kicked out. So the orange brick Royal Conservatoire just on our left hand side now.
Whoa.
Well, when we get through the lights. As you can see, there's some remodelling taking place in the city.
They got a fire hose on that. They must have burned
Yeah,
something.
you must be worried about sparks and stuff.
Okay. Wait, you don't put water on an electrical fire.
I think all the electrics have all been switched off. It's just in case any sparks catch any combustible material. So here we have the orange brick Royal Conservatoire on our left. And as we go through these lights, you can look up Hope Street on the left hand side, Oh, they looked at the bus, Anne, I'm afraid. As we go through these lights, you can look up Hope Street on the left and you'll see the Theatre Royal. And this is Glasgow's oldest surviving theatre. It dates back to the 1850s.
So if you want a bus,
Yeah, you just need to tell us that you actually
let us know.
We had no clue.
They-
Of course, we didn't know when you go in on a train, you have to keep your ticket to get out of the train. We don't know anything.
Where are you guys from?
Oh, she's from the US. I say I'm from Canada.
Why do you say you're from Canada?
We don't, I
Is it
don't
because
have,
of President Trump?
we don't talk politics, but maybe you're on the right track.
I don't talk politics either.
That was just fun.
So the seats are better upstairs for the views. Are you going all the way around and back here again?
Yeah.
The views are better upstairs.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good day.
These Canadians are awful friendly, aren't they? Now, you don't need earphones. The red one is the map if you want to follow the route.
This one?
Yeah, but you're going to be listening to me.
I'm listening.
You don't need earphones.
Oh, good.
So also just up to the left at the top of Hope Street, we have a building in a Greek or Roman style. This is the National Piping Centre and Museum. And just a couple of weeks ago, Glasgow Green hosted the World Pipe Band Championships. These were won by Scottish band Inveraray and District. Now we're now headed for stop 21 for Buchanan Gallery shops and for Buchanan bus station. This is the last stop before we arrive back at George Square. Now just on the right hand side here is the Honeycolour Pavilion Theatre. This is one of our remaining variety theatres and it has a retractable roof. But due to our climate, the roof has not been open for many, many years. Now on our right hand side here is the Cineworld Cinema Complex. This is in the Guinness Book of World Records. This is the world's tallest cinema complex. It has 18 screens and it's built on the site of the old Apollo and Green's Playhouse music venues. The next building on the right through the traffic lights is the Royal Concert Hall. It opened in 1990 when Glasgow was Europe's capital of culture. The floor of the venue is a rubber floor, and this is to mute the sounds of the underground trains as they pass underneath. Now coming up on our left, outside the bus station, is the Clyde clock by George Wiley. This is a small clock perched on a pair of legs. And this also has a nickname. I'll give the nickname for the Clyde clock in just a moment. So the Royal Concert Hall on the right now, and the Clyde clock coming up on the left. The small clock perched on a pair of legs. Its nickname is Running Out of Time.
I should have known.
Did you not suss it? No?
So we're just about to arrive at stop 21 in a few moments. The last stop before we return to George Square.
Yeah, we want to get on the Buchanan station.
Leave a wee review later. My name is Jim, I've been your guide, and Anne was our driver. If, on the other hand, you've had any issues with the tour today, our names are Bonnie and Clyde. And I'll mention a few more things on the way back to George Square. You'll see the ornate railings on the side of the building. These are made from recycled drinks cans.
Oh my.
And I might as well sit down the last couple of minutes.
No.
Now as we go through these traffic lights in a moment, over to the right you will see the glass roof of Queen Street Station. This is our oldest, it dates back to 1842. From here you get trains to the north of Scotland and also trains to Edinburgh. Now you're probably aware that Edinburgh is Scotland's capital city, but you will have come to realise that Glasgow is Scotland's best city. We do have some rivalry and banter with our friends in the east. Here in Glasgow we say that the only good thing to come up Edinburgh is the train for Glasgow Queen Street. And just a couple of years ago, an American tourist asked me if I could explain the difference between the personalities of Edinburgh people and Glasgow people. I said the difference is that we have one. And this is always when I find out if there's anybody from Edinburgh on board the bus. But I think I'm safe today. So when the lights change, we will proceed down the hill or drumlin of North Hanover Street back to George Square at stop 1. As I said, if you're leaving us here, thanks for being with us today. You're welcome to stay on board for the 1:15 departure with a new guide, or you can transfer to the Yellow Route tour, also leaving at 1:15. Thank you very much for being with us today. Thank you.